Hi, my name is Awesome, an indie game developer currently making a roguelike rhythm game called Rogue Rhythm. You can find it on Steam, wishlist, play the demo. I actually am working on a new version that is changing absolutely everything, changing all the combat mechanics that I wanted to talk about a little bit today. So basically before, if you just look at like normal rhythm game but gameplay, you have, especially in Eterna, you can see it a little bit more clearly, but you can see how some of the notes are red, some of the notes are blue, and some of the notes are yellow. So obviously the notes on that are red are just whole notes, and the blue is half notes, and then the yellow is quarter notes, right? And when I was originally my game, you can see here, this Alpha 1.0 gameplay, you can see that the notes are always just the same, right? They're all whole notes. And obviously, it's going to get boring at some point. I mean, I need to add more mechanics, right? I need to make it interesting. But what I ended up doing is completely redesigning the way that how I program the game, and it allowed me to add half notes. It allowed me to add these different things that actually games like this, games like Eterna, and other 4-key games, other 5-key games, they don't have the feature that I even added. I don't believe. I mean, actually, I think some of them do. Like, what's it called? Not in the groove or whatever it is. But not a lot of them do. So essentially, is you can see here, but how I was doing it was I have whole notes and then I have dodge notes, right? That's like the main mechanic. So I have these whole notes, and then it doesn't happen here, but every so often, wherever this white is, where it says AT, the background where it's white, it'll turn red, and that'll indicate that a dodge note is coming up, and you'll have to press spacebar. When that red bar, it'll be red, reaches the center. But here I changed the dodge notes to blue, and what I was thinking was, why do I need a color indicator? Because let's say I have dodge notes, right? And I'm saying, oh, a dodge note is going to come up, so I'm going to make the indicator red for that. But then I'm going to have this, so this is coming up, so I need to make the indicator blue for this. And then this is something else, so I need to make the indicator this color. Why would I make the player memorize all that? So what I went ahead and added was this future bar here. So you can see this top bar, it's actually just playing everything that I actually need to play one bar into the future. So right there, you can see those also half notes. I added half notes. So there's random half notes. So these random half notes play, and then this dodge bar, I already saw it was going to happen in the future, so I knew when to play it in the present. Not only that, but you can see here, that bar is moving faster than my center bar, right? But it's still on the same tempo. So if I'm still playing ding, 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 it's still on the same tempo, but it visually looks faster. And I forgot what this is called in 4-key games like this. Oh, but you can see here, C1130, right here, C1130. So that is the speed that the notes are moving. If he were to put his C at 500, his notes would visually look slower, but they would just be closer together, and therefore he would be playing at the same speed that he is right now. So the only reason he plays at C1000 plus whatever is because it spaces the notes out more, and it makes it visually easier to see what's happening on the screen and allows him to press these notes, right? So what I actually added was these notes that randomly are faster or slower. So essentially what I'm doing is, like, right there, that slow note, if you looked, that slow note appears from the center and ends in the center. So I'm actually changing the C speed, the whatever the equivalent is, like in Eterna, I'm changing the C speed in my game during the fight, so that just to switch it up and to try to trip you up, and it'll make you think like, oh, this is probably in a different tempo. This is probably a half note. No, it's not a half note. It's still a whole note, but it's actually on a different set speed of what the note is actually traveling, but it's on the same timing, if that makes sense. Another thing I added with this update is a updated visuals. So you can see exactly where you're hitting the note and your timing. So you can see if it's a critical attack. You can see if you missed right there. It'll show you. And what I also changed is you can see that whenever I hit, the bar turns green. So also show that I did a successful attack. But you can see in my previous version, whenever I hit a key, it didn't turn green, which allowed me to press multiple times. Because essentially what it is I need to press the key that's dark blue, and then I need to press the key that's light blue. And then if a key turns green, then that means that key is going to be pressed twice, right? So I can just spam whenever it's green. I can spam the dark blue and the light blue because there's no penalty. But now I can only do one at a time. So I'm only going to be able to play one note every single bar. But now that there's half notes, you have more opportunities to attack, and therefore you can do more damage output. So not only did I add random half notes, I added random fast notes that have a higher C speed and random slow notes that have a slower C speed. I added the future bar indicator system, and therefore I can add more things to the game and add more features. And I don't need to explain them to you because you're just going to see them come up in the future, and then you'll play them on the next beat in the present. And what I'm essentially going to be doing is starting off slow, but then on floor 1, it's pretty simple. Floor 2, I add fast and slow speeds. Floor 3, I add half notes. And then every boss, I'm going to introduce a new mechanic. So for the boss on floor 6, I'm going to add red bars that are bombs. So the boss is it's going to be like the hardest version of that, right? It's going to introduce you to the mechanic of bombs, and then for the rest of the game, every single enemy is going to have a chance to have bombs as well. And then the floor 9 boss, he's going to make it so that the ground actually moves. So instead of you playing on every half note, you could play on every quarter note, and then maybe it comes back and you're playing on every half note, etc. I could also have reverse bars. So everything that I just said, the bombs and the fast speed notes and the slow speed notes and the half notes, all of that could also be coming from not from left from right, but from right from left. So everything could just be converging into the center of the screen. And I think that'd be pretty cool. Something else is hold notes. Obviously, a lot of these rhythm games have hold notes. I don't have hold notes right now. I'm planning on adding it by the boss on floor 15. I'm going to add it, and then it'll just be for the rest of the game. Also, these rhythm games, these 4-key, 5-key rhythm games, they have the flash game mode where it shows the note that you're supposed to press, but then it'll like go away very quickly, so you need to memorize it. And another thing is I could scramble the WASD keys, not like what you're actually pressing, but visually I could scramble them. And I could also add taiko. So what I could do is I'm kind of limited in the game because you need to use your peripheral vision to look at specifically what key you need to press in WASD, right? But if I make it so all there is left and right click, and left click is a normal attack and right click is dodge, I can make the actual gameplay significantly harder because all you need to do is input left and right, and you don't need peripheral vision to look at this. You don't need to look at this. Like, all you need to do is focus all your attention on the actual bar, and you can play incredibly quickly. So I do think that would be interesting. I'm planning on changing the entire game from the WSD kind of game mode thing into just a left and right click and basically make it a taiko, Osu taiko type thing. So another feature I could do is only make it so you can only see the future bar. So essentially here, I'd have to know that dodge bar is coming up, and I wouldn't be able to see anything in this middle bar here. So I'd have to dodge there, and then yeah, I'd have to memorize all of that. So I think that'd be pretty ridiculous. I think that'd be fun. Another thing that I changed is I made the beat timings way more accurate, because I don't know if you guys know what this is, but before I was every time I would release a note, I'd do 60 divided by the BPM of the enemy and the BPM of the song. So I just throw out a note every interval. I'd do yield new, wait for seconds, and I do that interval 60 divided by the BPM. And there's an issue with that because it's weird. It's like it depends on frame rate, but like the music isn't depending on frame rate because it's just playing. So what I actually did was I changed from that into audio settings.dsp time. And as far as I can tell, it works perfectly. As like before, if I were to leave this game running, because you can see that this battle, it took me 5 minutes. So this is the first boss. It took me 5 minutes to get through all 3 phases without using any items. And if the game's going on for 2-3 minutes, like how I did before with you would return new, wait for seconds, it would start to get a little bit off and it get pretty noticeable. But with audio settings at DSP time, as far as I can tell, as long as I leave the game running, it will just be perfectly timed with the music every single time. And I think it was noticeable. I think it was it just feels way better, right? It just feels way better and it actually makes sense. Of course, there are way more things I'm adding to this demo, into this update and the demo. So this is everything in here that I've already added, and these are the features that I still need to add. So the demo 2.0 update should be out by August 9th or the 11th, around there, between those, probably closer to the 9th. Not that much more I need to do. I also added a new save system, so I highly recommend you guys check that out. I think that the game has a lot of potential, not only with this new future bar mechanics, but also with these new mechanics and the way that since I completely revamped the combat system and the way that it works, I can really add a lot new features that I think will keep the game interesting. I think it'll keep it fun. I think it actually has a lot of potential for this game. So I'm very excited. Please wishlist on Steam, Rogue Rhythm. And once that 2.0 update is out, play that demo and join the Discord.